We actually have
where so many
somebody
auto
with
workers
us.
are losing their jobs. Okay,
Yes.
I'm done now. We can go to Jenna.
Jenna Bush is awaiting us right now.
Sorry, Jenna.
It's okay.
Jenna knows all about these primaries and things. First twin daughter, or whatever we call Jenna. First of all, Jenna, you have written a book called Anna. You've been doing the press thing. You've been doing interview after interview after
Yes.
interview.
Yes.
How do you feel? Are there any surprises for you in this whole thing that you're doing?
No, I mean, it's been really great. I'm traveling to different high schools throughout the United States and talking with teenagers and students about Anna and the other kids I met in Latin America. And so far, it's been really inspiring.
And not unpleasant. I mean,
Well, we'll change all that.
no, we're not going to change that.
Don't change it, please.
We will
All right,
not change
okay.
it. We will not.
She obviously hasn't
People-
seen the show.
People have been nice, and they're not attacking your dad or his policies to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody realizes that this is about Anna's story and what I've learned in Latin America.
Yeah. Now,
What did you learn?
Well, I met with my job. I worked for UNICEF, which is an amazing organization that works in over 150 countries. And my job was to meet with teenagers who were living in exclusion, who were living in extreme poverty or living with HIV, and write their stories, listen to their stories and write them for UNICEF. And so, I mean, I obviously learned so much from these kids. I learned from Anna in particular, who has lived an extremely difficult life. I learned to live each day to its fullest.
Excuse me, Jenny. There's a word you used earlier in the interview about exclusion. Can you explain what that is?
Yes. Well, a lot of the kids I met, I mean, exclusion is a broad term, obviously, but the kids I met were living in extreme poverty. They didn't have access to medical care or education, schooling. They were living with HIV, and so they were living outside of society's embrace.
I think doing any kind of missionary work, I think really changes a person. And you and your sister had a little bit, I mean, you guys weren't Paris Hilton, but you had a little bit of a reputation as party girls. Do you think this changed you?
Well, no, I mean, I think people had that image of us because they didn't know really what we were up to because we wanted to keep private. But of course, you know, so it didn't change my personality necessarily. But I taught for 2 years after the University of Texas after graduating, and then went on to Latin America. And you know, of course, I've grown up. It's been 7 years since people had that image of me. But yeah, I mean, listening to their stories was incredible. And
Jenna, when you see this, when you not only listen to their stories, but you get involved and you write about it as well, does it change how you look, you're thinking about how government should run in the United States and elsewhere to help these people? Why should these people be in these situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think the United States government does try to help. I went to Africa this summer with my mom, and I met a lot of people who are getting assistance from the United States government and to help them get the medicine they need to stay healthy. But definitely, and I think the key is education. And for instance, with Anna's mother didn't have the education to know what to do to keep her baby, Anna, safe. So Anna inherited HIV from her mom, but Anna, with education in Latin America, has taken the proper ARVs, and her baby, Beatriz, is most likely HIV negative. So there is a positive light to all of this.
Does it ever make you feel like you, not just you in particular, but you are too privileged in this world?
Well, you know, I know I'm very fortunate, and I have, but I think that we can all give back in some ways. And I hope that I'm doing that by teaching and by writing this book.
I know you and your mom are writing a book together too, but I want to ask you a question about your dad. How did he react when you said, "I'm getting married"?
Well, Henry told him first. My fiance asked him first if it was okay for him to ask me, and
so when he goes to the president and officially asks for your hand in marriage, that's got to be
your dad.
I mean, I know he had worked for your dad and for the party, but still, that's got to be intimidating.
No, well, he hadn't. I mean, he hasn't worked for my dad in a long time, but I mean, I think he would do that to anybody who was marrying. Just because.
Do any dads really say no anymore? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have several
I don't
times.
know. That's the thing. I don't know if my dad would have said no.
Yeah, it's a nice thing because you're in love and he wants you to be happy.
Did he get down on it?
Exactly.
Did he get down on his knee when he spoke to the president?
Hey, Jenna. You once went skydiving with my sister. I have to tell you a funny story.
I what?
You once went skydiving, I think, with my sister.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Paris, California here, and you jumped out of an airplane with your sister?
Yes, I did.
You were on the plane with my sister. And
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah, and I guess one of you asked her, like, because my sister's got, I think, 450 jumps under her. And you guys, it was your first jump. And so then she said, God, there was a lot of hubbub when we landed, and there were these men running out. She had no idea. She's Canadian. She had no idea who you guys were, but that you were very cool and very sweet.
Well, thank you. We were very nervous jumping on the plane, I have to tell you.
I guess so.
All right, Jenna, you have to go because you have 23,000 other interviews. You're very charming.
Yes. Thank you, Jenna.
Is
Thank you
called
so much for
Honest
having
Story.
me.
Nice to see you, Jenna.
Thanks.
Honest Story. You know what comes out of all of this? When they were the first